Benvenuti e benvenute ad un nuovo episodio di Actually, il podcast che parla del cambiamento che sembra arrivare piano piano e poi travolgerci tutto d'un tratto. È un episodio speciale, specialissimo per me, lo dico personalmente, egoisticamente, ma credo in realtà anche per questo podcast e per la storia della nostra società, Will in particolare. Perché? Perché fra pochi minuti vi lascerò a questa intervista per me straordinaria e speciale che ho avuto la fortuna di poter fare alla commissaria, alla concorrenza e al digitale, nonché vicepresidente esecutivo della Commissione europea, Margrethe Vestager. Chi ci segue da un po' sa quanto la sua figura sia, indissolubilmente legata a me, ma credo anche alla nostra società. Perché a me? Perché sostanzialmente il primo video che io feci 4 anni fa, quando Ale mi chiese di iniziare a fare contributi per Will, fu proprio dedicato alla sua biografia. Perché? Perché lei? Perché io ci tenevo tantissimo a far passare l'importanza di quella che era la mia fissa. Ale diceva: qual è la tua urgenza comunicativa? Che cosa vuoi gridare al mondo? Io dicevo che il mercato e guardare il mondo con le lenti dei mercati e della regolamentazione dei mercati e delle regole che li devono guidare è il modo migliore per capire la realtà. E per questo la mia fissa è la concorrenza. Ci ho fatto un dottorato, ci ho lavorato, ci ho fatto consulenza, ho lavorato per un think tank dedicato alla concorrenza e non riuscivo a far passare per questo messaggio perché è estremamente tecnica come materia, e allora decisi di passare attraverso una storia biografica, una storia potentissima, che è quella di Margrethe Vestager, una figura che mi ha ispirato tantissimo nel corso degli anni, una figura innanzitutto politica, ministra per 2 volte in Danimarca, e poi nominata attraverso il supporto del suo governo e poi comunque attraverso il supporto politico del gruppo dei liberali in Parlamento europeo, nominata commissaria europea alla concorrenza. 10 anni in cui ha ribaltato l'antitrust europeo, in cui ha sfidato ai più alti livelli le più grandi società tech e non tech al mondo, nel nome dei principi della concorrenza. Lei dice: non dobbiamo perdere la bussola, l'Unione Europea è un luogo straordinario, lo dice anche dentro l'intervista, nel corso di intervista che ascolterete. L'Unione Europea è il luogo più straordinario al mondo dal punto di vista dei diritti. Dice anche una cosa di grandissima potenza: è il luogo migliore al mondo dove essere una donna. E Margrethe Vestager ha lottato nel nome dei principi, ha perso, ha scommesso tanto in nome dei principi, ha perso. Lei poco prima della elezione di Ursula von der Leyen era stata candidata come possibile presidente della Commissione europea. In quegli stessi mesi ci fu la proposta di fusione di 2 colossi infrastrutturali francesi e tedeschi, quindi Siemens e Alstom, e lei disse no, e voi immaginatevi cosa volesse dire no a 2 colossi rappresentativi dei 2 stati più potenti e importanti d'Europa, che sono Francia e Germania, che potevano essere degli azionisti della sua candidatura alla presidenza della Commissione europea, e invece no, la sua candidatura sfumò. Lo dice, fa una battuta nel corso della nostra conversazione quando io le chiedo: ma quale altra direzione generale prenderesti qui alla Commissione europea se potessi? Fa no, nessun'altra direzione generale, o la presidenza o niente. Un personaggio straordinario, un personaggio che ho avuto la fortuna di incontrare grazie allo straordinario lavoro che ha fatto Jean-Claude Mariani, un ragazzo straordinario che ha fatto lo stage qui in Will e che ha creato lui questa opportunità di intervista. È stato un momento davvero emozionante. La commissaria, la vicepresidente Vestager è una figura che riempie la stanza con la sua energia. Ci ha messo ad attendere nella stanza d'attesa al 12° piano del Berlaymont. Appena entrata nella stanza, 2 battute, una fisicità straordinaria, una donna molto stilosa, bella, affascinante e dotata di un carisma straordinario. Dopo un secondo ci ha messo a nostro agio, ma mi ha messo anche in soggezione. Ci ha portato nel suo studio, questo studio così famoso dove lei ha accolto alcuni degli uomini più potenti del mondo. Ne parliamo nella puntata, e li ha accolti spesso e volentieri facendo la maglia, il modo modo che lei ha per rilassarsi, anche se di fronte a sé ha Tim Cook, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. Questi sono i personaggi con cui lei si è confrontata in questi anni e questi sono i personaggi con cui lei è andata dritta per dritta, sempre appellandosi ai principi dell'Unione Europea. Quando sei nel mezzo di una tempesta e non sai più cosa è giusto e cosa è sbagliato, legati ai tuoi principi. Ho visto una donna incredibile, ancora con una forza straordinaria, che sta per lasciare Bruxelles, che sta per tornare in Danimarca. Si percepisce un po' di rammarico da parte sua per la fine, però naturalmente di una lunghissima esperienza in Commissione Europea. E se devo darvi una mia impressione, togliamo diciamo il mio essere suo fan, una delle poche persone che mi è capitato nella vita di incontrare e dire: diavolo, ma pensa che peccato se questa persona nella vita smettesse di occuparsi della cosa pubblica, smettesse di fare politica. Vi garantisco è la prima volta che ci ho pensato, perché ha una forza, una potenza simbolica anche straordinaria, è punk, è contemporanea, è preparatissima a livello tecnico, ma ha un'empatia nell'eloquio straordinario. Tu gli fai, io nella mia intervista le faccio una domanda abbastanza tecnica: cosa pensi del consumer welfare standard? E lei ti risponde come alcuni solo grandi politici della storia, ti risponde assolutamente in maniera molto preparata ma empatica. Quella risposta l'avrebbe potuta dare anche ad una persona per strada qua sotto senza nessun tipo di preparazione a livello di antitrust. Insomma sì, mi sono molto emozionato. Io credo che sia un qualcosa che debba farci pensare, l'uscita di Margrethe Vestager dalla Commissione europea, e lei più in generale sia una di quelle persone a cui continuare a guardare per ispirarci e per capire che sì, la politica, soprattutto la politica europea, si può fare in maniera diversa e che, volenti o nolenti, viviamo in uno spazio economico, politico e di democrazia straordinario che si chiama Europa, che si chiama soprattutto Unione Europea. Godetevi questa intervista, è più breve di quello che avrei voluto, ma i tempi sono quelli che sono. L'intervista è anche in video, quindi in questo momento voi avrete ascoltato e basta questa intro, ma fra poco vedrete comparire anche il video anche qui su Spotify. Un abbraccio a tutti e a tutte, noi ci andiamo in vacanza per qualche giorno e godetevi Margrethe Vestager. Ciao! Benvenuti e benvenute ad un nuovo episodio di Actually, il podcast che parla del cambiamento che sembra arrivare piano piano e poi travolgerci tutto d'un tratto. Ora, è una puntata particolarmente emozionante per me, per tutti quelli che conoscono la mia storia, la storia di Will e non solo, perché mi trovo al 12° piano del Berlaymont, l'edificio rappresentativo, più rappresentativo, sede della Commissione europea, e dove nello specifico si trova anche il mitologico ufficio di Margrethe Vestager. Io in questo momento mi trovo proprio qui, ci sono i suoi pupazzetti e di fianco a me c'è la commissaria Vestager, vicepresidente esecutiva della Commissione europea. Commissioner Vestager, I'm so excited and happy to be here with you.
Well, it's great that you're here, and with that introduction, I need to learn Italian.
You need to learn Italian?
I didn't understand a thing, but it's the most beautiful language that I can imagine speaking.
Is it?
Yes.
Thank you so much. In explaining first, why do you think people are afraid of the market and of competition? And I go with a second question, but why do you think so many people are scared about the concept of the market and of free competition? You know, our country isn't really happy when we speak about Bolkestein directives. Why do you think, like in terms of human beings, what makes people so afraid of competition?
Well, I think because the benefits, they are so thinly felt by everybody that you don't think about the benefits. But when it's painful, it's really, really painful for few people. And that you see much better. Because if a business will have to go out of business, people lose their job, it's terrible. But when businesses compete to provide you, a new service or better products or lower prices, then they're all good. It's all fine. I take that. And I think it's because of that asymmetry. Because pain is felt, but benefits are spread to everybody.
It's a tough job, the one you pushed here for 10 years now, more or less, I'd say. Now, you became probably the most prominent personality in world antitrust, I'd say, over the past 10 years. You issued some of humanity's largest fines ever. Do you think we are in a better position than the one in which we were when you started?
I definitely think so. And the most important point is that we have changed how we look at big tech. Because 10 years ago, they could do nothing wrong. They thought I was crazy. Because, I said, okay, Google, you cannot do that. You cannot not show the people that wants to compete against you. And people said, no, you cannot do that. These companies are great. They can do nothing wrong.
Innovation. Yeah.
All of that. And now today, people are like, yeah, they can do wrong. Because if they close the market and makes it impossible for anybody else to present their products, there will be no innovation. There will be no investment in startup companies, in smaller companies who need the money in order to grow. And I think that is the most important point. And because of that, many more are added to say, listen, you can be successful, but you cannot use all that power to prevent others from being successful.
Okay, I totally get your point. But if you look at the structure of the market, tech market looks like an even more concentrated market, notwithstanding the fines. The big guys are even bigger. Mm-hmm. And when we now hear about the fines that you guys issue from here, we hear billions and billions. And every time now it looks like, okay, even if it's bigger, it doesn't feel like it hits them. Give us some hope.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we give a fine, we're punishing illegal behavior. We also say, you cannot do this again, and you cannot do something that has the same effect. And last but not least, we say, you need to make efforts to repair because someone has suffered from what you did that was illegal. But I tend to agree that it has not helped as much as we thought it would. So now we have passed new legislation that is even stronger, where we can double the fine if things are not being solved. And eventually also we have a more sort of straight access to say, listen, if you do not want to comply with the law of the land, we can break up this company.
Do you think the consumer welfare standard still makes sense as the standard, the golden rule of antitrust? I studied antitrust and it was consumer welfare. And I love the fact because it was like bringing also numbers, this technical analysis in the world of law for me, because I come from the legal perspective, and I liked it. It's not arbitrarial. It's not politics. It's a highly technical procedure that the one you guys do here. Do you think we should stick to that sort of standard, a very technical one, or should we put some more public interest considerations when you look at antitrust cases?
But for me, this is not technical. For me, this is about the values that we can put into everyday life, because our life is about ourselves as human beings. Society is about citizens. The market is about consumers. And I think that if, as a consumer, you're being respected in the market, you have choice. If you don't like the offer in one shop, you go to another one. That kind of respect in the marketplace also translates into how you feel that you're respected as a citizen. Because you're in the market every day. You're not in the municipality every day to ask for a permit, and you don't vote every day, but you're in the market every day. So if you experience that there is fairness, that there is respect, that businesses do their best to innovate, to come up with new stuff, that they compete on prices, that they do their best to provide you with the best possible qualities in the fruits, the vegetables, whatever it is that you want to buy, I think you feel also more empowered as a citizen.
The virtuous cycle you just described, it's a cycle that pushes people to the higher end of their quality, their work, and so forth, so on. We, as a media company, we talk a lot with young generations, and many times they feel they're being pushed and stressed. The mental health issues that are growing now among the new generations, especially when we talk about work, business, entrepreneurship, they would define it, I guess, the people working with me, they would define it toxic. If we look to the future.
But it would be crazy if we had only competition. That would have, I think, really, really, really bad effects. And it has taken us a long time to say, well, you should compete, but you should not compete by breaking down people. So we have labor laws. We have laws about how people should be treated, that people can have representation in their workplace, so they have somebody to take care if the manager is going crazy. You cannot compete by ruining our nature. Mm-hmm. So we have environmental laws to say, no, you cannot just take your wastewater and put it in the river, because then the fish will die and the people who swim in the river, they will get all kinds of rashes. So we have sort of framed the market to make it reasonable with labor laws, that children cannot work, with environmental laws, all of that, because we will not pay those costs. Because if you only had competition, I think it would be crazy. And we have seen it because back in the days when we didn't have this kind of legislation, where the unions had no power, well, then companies were breaking down people. They were having children work like crazy, and they were ruining the environment around them. So we came in with reasonable, fair, balanced laws to make sure that every worker has rights. And only then you go compete.
This is why I like Commissioner Vestager so much. This is a great answer to a fairly good question. Let's move back to these years here at the Berlaymont. You met so many people.
Mm-hmm.
You met so many great businessmen, especially business persons. No, I need to admit,
it's just say men. Just say men.
We need to say it's men. No?
Yeah.
Who, if you can say, is the one that will go on the positive side, is the one that impressed you the most in positive terms as a human being?
Actually, there are quite many, I'd say. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that usually when I have a meeting with a CEO, they're here to solve a problem.
Typically a big problem.
Typically quite a big problem.
At least a 10% turnaround.
Because smaller problems, they are already being solved. Mm-hmm. And if it's just, to present themselves, that happens really rarely because, life is short and so is working life.
You had Tim Cook in this office, right?
I had Tim Cook. I have had everybody in this office. But in general, I think actually it has been okay. It's a very, very short list I have when I go into the committee for the most arrogant man in Europe.
Okay. This is pretty interesting as an answer. But then I go again back to this 10 years. You're living in a couple of months. Mm-hmm. What is the biggest unsolved problem that you live here? The one that you feel some, I don't know if fear is the right word, but like the one you say, oh, I'd like to have 10 more years in order to work on that thing because that thing is so important.
Well, European businesses are getting more concentrated. So, for instance, look at the airline industry, telcos. There are many industries where you'd say, well, actually, maybe we need more competition. And right now, part of the debate is kind of, isn't it a bit uncomfortable with this competition? And my message would be, we need to do a lot of things in order to be better in Europe and compete against China and the US, but never give up on competition. So, I would just really like to see that the discussions that we have, they say we will not give up on competition, but what really makes us competitive, we will do much more. For instance, enabling people to have better skills. You can never have too little education. It doesn't exist. And we're too slow in enabling people to use their talent in full. So, from here, making sure that competition is working, but then making sure also that people have better chances. People have better opportunities. I think that is what is haunting Europe. That some people feel that basically they don't really know where to go. You can be fired from a company, but then hopefully you can find a new job. But if you feel that you're being fired from your society, where do you go?
Well, this again is a great answer. I go another question that just came up to me. If you had the chance to choose another work here at the Commission as a commissioner, but not at the competition DG, what would you choose? In which area would you bring your effort in order to make this place we call Europe a better place?
Oh, but I would want to be the president.
You would
Yes.
want to, yeah, for sure. Okay. Stupid question.
I tried it once, I failed. And I love working with Ursula, and I'm a strong supporter of her for the next mandate. But no, I think she has the second best job. Mine is the best, but she has the second best job.
Okay. Okay. We're here. Finger crossed for you. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen in
No,
the next
never know.
couple of
Never
weeks or months here, but still. And what is the case? The single antitrust case you're more proud of about among these 10 years? I mean, you find everyone, but aside of the sense of the fine, the single case you say, what that was so important.
I think the first Google case was the most important one.
Why?
Because it showed that it was possible to say to one of the very impressive, gigantic businesses on this planet, you have done something illegal. You will pay a fine because you have done something illegal. And for me, that was important, that we could show that this is a union built on the rule of law. You're more than welcome to have success, but if you break the laws, you have a fine coming in your direction.
Did you think that in all of these cases you did and you followed, every now and then the line between antitrust and industrial policy and geopolitical competition, somehow you've walked through that line?
Well, no, because, we are checked by the courts. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. And one thing is to know that you might lose. I can tell you it's a different thing actually to lose. Oh my God, you feel it in your entire body when you lose a case. But the thing is that we are being checked. We are being held to a standard. So, there's not any room for sort of policies to sneak in or some kind of discretion that actually, no, it would be nicer for political reasons. But one of the things that I'm really proud of is that we have enabled in 5 areas, so in batteries, microelectronics, cloud, health, hydrogen, cutting-edge research programs with more than 300 businesses, more than 2,000 associated partners, a program with private and public investment of 100 billion euros. It's as big as Horizon Europe, which is our big research program, and it has almost been kept a secret. But, project
no one knows.
by project, we are pushing this. And we see, really interesting results when it comes, for instance, to semiconductors. I'm so proud of my people that they enable this because we have the rules, we have states, we have businesses, but the magic that makes it European and beneficial for more than the businesses who get the money is the work done by my people. They are great.
We're getting closer to the conclusion of this conversation, and I'm sad. But prove me wrong. The United States innovate. China copies. Europe regulates. Is it true or false?
No, this is false.
This is false. Why?
Well, for China, it's false because China has become a great innovator.
Okay.
Yes, they can do a lot these days.
They're innovating a lot.
Europe is a great innovator. Yes, we do regulate, but part of the regulation is actually for the market to be open for those who innovate. Our issue is not that we do not innovate. Our issue is that we do not provide capital for businesses to grow, to be the next big business, because our capital market doesn't work sufficiently well. So I think that we need to leave the stereotypes. And when people say, oh, but it's a competition. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, but these are 3 different sports. because we're not competing with the Chinese in being Chinese. I think we would be very poor Chinese. We would not be good at it. So we're in the competition to maintain and develop our European model, which is great. I recognize, of course, that people sometimes feel that life is really shitty because of work or lack of place to live. But our model provides still for the least inequality, the longest lives, the cleanest air, the best access to education and to health anywhere on this planet. Europe is still the best place to live ever, and especially if you're a woman. This is what we want to develop. We don't want to be Americans or to be Chinese. So I think one should be, much more proud and much more, self-assured that we can make it, because we made it great so far.
You're not scared that American big tech will one day smash our economy away?
No, not at all. Also because underneath you see a lot of European tech. It's mostly business to business. It's in all the magnificent machinery that is being produced in Europe, but it's there. It's just that since we have the US tech on our palm, on our phone, then we think that is all that there is. While there is so many other things ongoing in ceramics, in steel, in health, in all kinds of machinery that we use for all these different things, and a lot of public goods, like the digital twin we now have of the weather. Europe is an impressive place, and we can be much prouder than we are.
Commissioner Vestager, I'm so happy, proud, and excited for the conversation we just had. I'm sure that many of the thousands of people that will listen it will be excited as well. I just want to close with a huge thank you, not for this conversation, but for the amazing work you did here for the past 10 years, and especially for what you represented, because Europe literally needed so badly someone like you. I think Europe still needs someone like you, a personality like you, and also a symbol like the one you became, because you are a symbol for many. So thank you so much for this opportunity and for the work you did.
It's very, very kind of you. Thank you.
Ciao a tutti, sono molto emozionato. Ci sentiamo al prossimo episodio di Actually. Ciao!